And this session will be moderated by the Head of Product Strategy and Growth KapanLagi Youniverse, which joins together Bapak CAHYANTO ARIE WIBOWO. All right, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Selamat siang menjelang sore, Bapak Ibu, setara rekan-rekan sekalian. Good afternoon, everyone. Come on, semangatnya mana? Ayo. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, well done. So, such a pleasure. I could standing in here with Pak ALFIAN. Halo Pak. And also Pak DODY. Apa kabar? Baik, sehat. Kita di tahun ini bersyukur ya, di acara MMA ini kita bisa bertemu secara offline dan diberikan kesehatan semuanya. Dan tahun ini mungkin adalah tahun di mana Ramadan kita sungguh berbeda, betul ya Pak ya? Dan selain bermakna ibadah, kalau kita lihat di sini juga Ramadan juga membawa berkah kepada masyarakat dan juga pelaku bisnis. Di sini ada Bapak dan Ibu dari brand dan juga agensi, di mana kita melihat pada kuartal 2 2022 terjadi peningkatan produk domestik bruto, dan kalau dari di Indonesia sebesar 5,44%, dan tentunya bisa dikaitkan dengan Ramadan tahun lalu. Nah, angka ini kalau kita lihat lebih tinggi ternyata peningkatan PDB selama tahun lalu di 2022 sebesar 5,31%. Di tahun ini, seperti yang mungkin Bapak dan Ibu serta rekan-rekan sekalian ketahui, tahun ini kita diminta untuk lebih optimis. Are we agree that we have to be more optimistic for this year? Agree, right? And it's totally different because for this year is without PPKM. Dan tahun ini adalah tahun pertama kalinya tanpa PPKM dengan kita melihat 3 kali puasa, 3 kali lebaran, dan dari para audiens di sini tertarik nih Pak untuk mengetahui point of view dari mungkin dari Pak ALFIAN dulu ya, terkait apa yang akan berbeda di tahun ini. Pak ALFIAN, can you share about the people mobility since that we already change our behavior on this year? Pada saat kita melihat PPKM 2 tahun lalu sama tahun ini yang tidak ada PPKM, kira-kira seperti apa sih Pak untuk dari sisi behavior consumer, purchasing behavior-nya, mungkin kalau dilihat dari mobility-nya, silakan Pak.
Jadi berdasarkan analisa kita ya dari Telkomsel, nah saya di bagian data solution, artinya ada sekitar, saya duduk sekitar di atas data 160 juta Telkomsel, jadi some of my information is based on our data and also our survey. Okay, so we see that people is changing after 3 years the pandemic. Yeah, we can predict the data based on our previous mobility insight, but we also do some survey. We have a survey platform. We call it the survey. It's been almost 1 year. And actually, based on our survey, I'll show you some sneak peek. We will soon release it within the week, full complete. But some of the information that I give is what we get. Okay. So based on our survey, if please show this information.
Okay.
Yeah, we see around 7 to 72% of people are planning to go to their hometown in this Ramadan, right? So this is the fact that we get, and if we compare also based on our mobility data, right, on the survey and our data, we see that sorry. Okay, we see that based on our respondent, there are people that will go hometown increasing 1.4 times. Okay, 72% planning to go hometown, and the traffic that they plan is around 1.1 time planning. And the interesting thing is as well, what we find is actually the people is concerned about the economic condition this year, facing this Ramadan actually. And based on our survey as well, 20% of the people are preparing their saving and also reserving more fund on spending on this Ramadan. All right, and the interesting fact that we found as well on this survey, there is, this winter in startup, so there are a lot of layoff, and people, when preparing this Ramadan, also they are finding extra jobs, extra income, and then doing also on the smart spending. So based on the fact, actually, I think it will have good insight for some of your product or services, maybe to adjust to what are the people is trying to spend, and also because of the smart spending situation that they need to do, to put it in account, I think it will be adjusted to your promo campaign and everything. I think that's some of the fact that I can share based on our data and also our survey.
Wow, like 20% they already prepare for the maybe investment and also spending their budget to or for Ramadan. Wow, okay. And regarding this statement from Pak Alfian, Pak Dodi, would you mind to share like what you suggest for your brand and also client to prepare for their Ramadan strategy this year compared to last year? Since that for this year is totally different, right? As we know, PPKM is already done. And then, do you mind to share to all audience in here?
So this year, there's definitely lots of changes are happening, especially because the lockdown has been lifted. And during this lockdown, I think most of us already know is that the digital penetration has actually increased. And a lot of people, a lot of advertisers last year or the year before that already started implementing a digital-first kind of approach. And on top of this, also, with the whole ASO coming in, also this has actually also increased increased people to actually switch to digital. Further on, let's not forget that the lockdown has been lifted, so there is more mobility, as you have seen in the previous presentations. So at the end of the day, with the clients, when we go in, it's still a digital first for 2020. We are still going in as digital first planning, but with a little bit of a twist that offline is going to matter during Ramadan, especially during Mudik. Mudik is time when we are going to meet, go to our hometowns, or even during Ramadan when we're going to meet our friends. So all this movement is actually going to be happening. So, be it offline, be it OH, events, or maybe even TV, these are going to be important. But one thing that we need to keep in mind is how we're going to measure it. There's lots of ways that we can measure it. Be it, for example, OH, we can actually retarget them. We can use, you can see the data and how it actually can be beneficial for us to be more impactful, not just during Ramadan, even post-Ramadan, if we want to continue or follow up with our consumers.
Okay, so after we saw that for the past 3 years, as you mentioned, Pak Dodi, the metrics and also the engagement that you already mentioned before is really important. And we saw that for the past 3 years, our people already digitizing their paths to purchase, starting for awareness and then consideration, and then after that action. Like they already changed from one platform to another, right? And after that, if we saw that the behavior all one click away, maybe this make the behavior path are changing, doesn't it? Like to the purchase, they are not linear anymore. Maybe start from Pak Alfian. As we know that when the PPKM is not happened yet at 2023, and then our president also announced that PPKM is not available anymore. And what kind of challenge about non-linear path or of purchase, which previously heavy on in digital, and right now they are changing to offline maybe? Do you have any insight from Telkomsel and also telco industry that you could share with us?
Yeah, I think the impact of these 3 years PPKM, it shifts the customer behavior, right? I think the way we study, the way we enjoy entertainment, the way we work, we see a lot of changes, right? From offline to online. And then if we see in our data as well, based on our pattern, commuting pattern, it is going to the, before the pandemic start actually. And the people we see start doing activity outside, and then also they are coming to the shopping mall, center, market. And it is important, I think, for the marketers to see this behavior, and then actually, after they see the convenience in online, I think that still keep until now, but offline activity also will taking part, right? So based on our data and survey as well, please show the data. There are 32% of the people saying that they saying that offering from these mall, shopping center will influence their spending. And also if from the advertising, from the media, we see that from website around 18%, social media 32%, either it's a streaming platform or social media, and from TV is only 6%. This will affect, I think, your offering later on, and if we going into more granular into the generation, we see that X generation and millennial, they are more to TV compared to the Z generation. I think it will affect on, I think, the marketing strategy, how then you can do your campaign offering and educating, informing your product. And it will define how you can reap and during this festive season.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pak. Since that different generation, they have also different personas and a different approach while we are doing our marketing for them, right? Okay. And then, Pak Dodi, as we knew that Pak Alfian also said that persona, different generation. After Pak Alfian said, how will you break the clutter in Ramadan for this year?
Interesting question. Breaking the clutter, I'm pretty sure it's going to be very hard. I mean, as we all know, during Ramadan, there's some non-active brand that go active, and the active brand that are already there become more active. So, especially for advertisers who have limited budgets, or even the UMKMs, it gets hard. So, as Pak Alfian said, it's very important, to have the right data in place before we go into Ramadan. And I would, we usually see is the right consumer experience strategy. I mean, we need to go into what is the insight that we get and which platforms we should be available in, and then further down, how can we actually enhance that consumer journey for our customers itself. So I think from my side, I think it's like, how do we optimize all of these platforms altogether, be it offline or be it online? And I think a critical part of this is going to be data. Data is going to play a very important part for us to generate this optimal consumer journey.
Wow. It's really interesting statement from Pak Dodi that data is really important. And as we know that if we see that all of our audience in here came from a company who have a lot of data, and then a lot of brands that would like to know from all of you guys in here about the metrics and the implementation and the strategy that become the main focus of the marketeers to spend their budget and also measure their Ramadan strategy. Do you mind to share about the metrics and implementation strategy that becoming their focus on your perspective, maybe like top 3 and why? Maybe from ALFIAN.
I think if we saying about data means you have got the tools right. You have to get the IT infrastructure. I think as you are marketer here, you know, maybe you have your own AdTech or MarTech, you have your own CRM, CEO, SEM, or maybe there are DMP and CDP, right? So I think it really have to align with your objective at the end, right? So my point of view, the first thing is actually to know more actually who is your target audience, right? And then adjust to your product and then actually define and formulate your approach so that actually it will align between your product and your customer. And second is actually after you get that, I mean the insight, and then actually you want to get the attention, the awareness from them. And then you have your own media planning, the right one, what are the messages you crafting, and then find which the media, which channel, since previously Rohit also about multi-screens, right? And then you have to able to find and to track as well the customer journey, previously in which channel, and then going back to a different channel, you able to do that. If you can do that, actually, it really prepare you to have a good customer journey and good customer experience. And then based on that, actually, you can engage and you can you build a connection with them, and then try to have a very cost-effective and very meaningful campaign to the customer. And then hopefully you can win on this festive season. I think that's using the technology is, I think, is a must, but again, you have to align with your marketing objective. I think that's my opinion.
It's a wonderful metrics. Yeah. How about you, Pak?
So in no particular order, you know, where, you know, what we see, and I think everyone will agree, is like first and foremost, like how much reach and frequency are we getting? So that is one thing that we should look into. The second would most likely be especially during Ramadan, right? It is a very high season, you know, everyone's, you know, sales are up. You know, timing of when to take out the creative and which stage of the consumer journey or which time during Ramadan, be it sahur, be it during the afternoon when they're a bit, you know, they're watching more, and or maybe during iftar time. So those strategies is very important. So timing and the creative is also very important. And lastly, but not the least, is we need to look further into attention. We need to look into how can we define this attention matrix, so we can come up with this matrix and see what more can we do to actually further engage the consumer. Not just this will help us in many ways. It will bring our messaging even smoother, and you know, it will bring us help us bring the right consumers to our goods or products that we would be providing.
You mentioned about engagement, and then ALFIAN also mentioned about engagement. Would you mind to share about a specific user journey that you already mentioned before about how can we engage to our user on the real activity? For example, like in ngabuburit maybe. Is it any things that you would like to share about what kind of activity that really useful for our users?
So for ngabuburit itself, let's say for example, right, we can expose them during, you know, when they are breakfasting, and then later on, once we have already engaged with them, further on, using multiple AIs, we can craft the right journey for them on the website, and further on, hopefully into conversions itself, or for them to take an action. So that's just a small example of how we can craft a consumer journey in a certain stage.
Like quizzes, or
Yeah.
something like more engaged and asking the audience. Wow. Okay. And we already discussed about the metrics, the top 3 that already mentioned by ALFIAN and also Pak Dodi. About that metric and also the strategy that you already mentioned before, what kind of technology that can be useful for brand and also marketers to achieve that strategy in Ramadan? Maybe for on the telco perspective, Pak ALFIAN, would you mind to share?
Yeah, in telco perspective, based on our 160 million data, we able to provide something like, I think after the 3 years pandemic, the industrial landscape may change, right? You need to assess again what will be your industrial landscape, what will be your competitive landscape, right? We can able, based on our data, to provide such information. And after that, you can drill down again into what your consumer behavior. You can do survey, you can do a specific question, you have the analytics, but we can enrich actually. If you have such information, actually from we have some analytics that we can augment your data as well, right? So let's say you have a specific preference, but we have also some other metrics that we can provide actually. After you have a better understanding, then actually what you will do, actually what will be your campaign, yeah? How you do activation, how you can reach the customer, in which channel, right? And then after you do some campaign, of course you would like to do the tracking, right? And then you do a close loop tracking so that actually the customer journey is able. Let's say, I mean, giving an example, if you are an entertainment industry, a customer is watching a movie. Okay, yeah. And actually he stopped, or he just put like, okay, watch list, but actually when he's surfing like other social media, let's say, I don't know, maybe Facebook, but actually you able to remind, to trigger again, hey, you are watching this movie, you haven't finished it. You can do tracking and endorse actually to remind the customer to finish, right? But if it is example of entertainment, but actually in other brand also you can keep, you are clicking this one, but actually you can able to keep informed and also educating if it is something that not a content-based industry. I think technology will able to leverage your marketing and also a lot of optimization, and also within AI. I think one of our colleagues also from Grace also saying about that. I think it will help and make our jobs more easier actually. I think that's the technology that you need to have in place, and then again it will have to suit to your strategy and also your business objective.
It's quite interesting when Pak Alfian said that video, movies, entertainment, so the quality content is really important, right, for approaching the audience. How about you, Pak Dodi?
So in Dentsu itself, we have been the pioneer of actually understanding attention of the consumer, and we have been doing this for the past few years, close to 3 years now. And we, especially in digital media, we are looking into multiple matrix, a combination like viewability, duration, motion, size, devices, where the ads are being played on. So it's a combination of all of this, and we are trying to come up with when is it the most so the consumer does not get, I would say, annoyed. I would say they're not so annoyed and more receptive towards ads. Yeah, something where these guys, we will catch them the right timing with the right creatives, and also having and them paying attention to the ads itself. So that is something that we have been working on. We have done some tests here also in Indonesia. So that is something where I see it's going to be more exciting in years to come.
And the name is Attention Economy, if I'm not mistaken.
That's just a study.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, and for the last question, and also as a closing statement, that do you want to share to the audiences in here? We are really interested to digging more about how to build stronger connection with your main audience. Maybe we have a two perspective in here from the telco industry and also agency. How to build a stronger connection with your main audience and drive a high impact without being intrusive during Ramadan. It's really tough actually. Do you mind to share with us?
Yeah, I think in simple word is really understanding your customer means it start with your culture, it start with your organization. Are you a customer-centric organization or not? then you have to rely also with data, right? Data. Then you need the data, you need the tools as well, the appropriate one, and then based on that, you're able to segment, you're able to profile them, and then you can personalize, I think. With this personalization, you can create a great quality of experience. When it is having a good quality of experience, actually it will surpass actually price as well. It can create brand loyalty and also retain your customer. A lot of pattern in here, and then you can try how to best suit to your strategy. Yeah.
Okay, and from Pak Dodi?
Just adding on, I think still data is still the utmost important. For the more data, more insights that we get. And as Pak ALFIAN said, at time to time, for example, if you go to a premium coffee shop versus a normal coffee shop, the difference is basically in the experience that you get in that premium coffee shop. So consumer experience is very important. Like everything that we have said during this talk, I mean, all of that combined will actually create a journey for the consumer, be it from the attention economy, be it from the data insights that we collect. It's going to actually help us to be less intrusive for our consumers, and also which will actually help us further on to bring more impact into our campaigns. So, I mean, for me, I rather reach out to 10% of our consumers and be impactful rather than reaching out to 60% of it. So I think consumer journey and data will play a very, very important role in the upcoming years.
Okay, thank you, Pak Dodi and Pak ALFIAN. As a summarize of our panel discussion today, it's really important that we have to concern about the awareness and also consideration, but then don't forget about the quality content and also the customer engagement to retain our audience while we have a strategy and also to drive our high impact without being intrusive. But last but not least, I have one quote that I would like to share to all of you guys, especially from KapanLagi Youniverse also, is to summarize, is without data, you are just another person with an opinion. Thank you so much for today from all panelists. Big applause for Pak ALFIAN and also Pak Dodi. Thank you so much.